Joining us now to discuss is CoinDesk Director of Data and Indexes, Galen Moore in Boston. Hey there, Galen. So is it a whale or whales that are buying Bitcoin? What do you think? Who done it?
Certainly the first chart you showed there from Crypto Quant seems to indicate.
Galen, I can't hear you. Are you on mute?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question.
Never mind.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you, but everyone else can.
But everybody else can. Oh, good. Well, I guess
I can hear you now.
Very good. I'll forge on. Yeah, I think, I think a pretty compelling case there that this is a spot market driven rally this morning. Often you see this sort of cascading liquidations refers to the kind of flywheel effect of the auto liquidations in the derivatives markets, kind of accelerating a price move one direction or another. That's now, apparently, perhaps the start of the action here was really more in a large spot purchase, perhaps by one individual, one investor, one fund. I think it sparks some head scratching. Why would you take $1.6 billion and push it into the spot market? You're going to get some slippage.
What kind of theories do you have in your mind? Why would someone?
5% of 1.6 billion is a lot of money. So clearly somebody.
Well, they need to do it in a hurry.
Perhaps they needed to do it in a hurry. And I think, we were discussing this for this week's Crypto Long and Short newsletter. I was talking with Lawrence Lewitton on the First Mover program. Who's on the First Mover program on CoinDesk TV. We were discussing okay, maybe this is somebody who needed to move some capital out of Asia, for example. We had the Fantasia news, sort of indications of perhaps the Evergrande debt debacle spreading to other Chinese real estate firms. And so, you might see people looking to move capital very quickly. Perhaps Bitcoin is the avenue through which to do that. So that's one possible explanation. Certainly not as bullish as this was the time for somebody to make a big investment into Bitcoin. But
because it's Lawrence, there must have been a tether theory in there.
There's always a tether connection. I mean, look, could be somebody trying to move a bunch of tether as well, right? If you needed to get rid of a lot of tether, Bitcoin would be the logical place to do it. I think, certainly a move of that size into the spot market, typically the thing to do would be to handle it over an OTC desk, sort of dribble it out over a period of time so it wouldn't move the market. Seeing something like that happen, has to sort of invite these kind of questions. One thing I would say is if you do subscribe to that theory that it is sort of motivated by instability in China, I think it's another indicator that you see kind of macro factors starting to bear on the price of Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that'll be the last narrative like that we see in the coming months.
Sure, it could be due to regulatory factors in China as well as in the United States, as we see the SEC talking more about crypto, though SEC Chair Gary Gensler did say that it's up to Congress to ban Bitcoin, suggesting that the SEC will not go there. But we're also seeing some bullish sentiment in the United States in terms of Bank of America opening up a crypto research desk and a potential ETF that could be approved in the United States. Gary Gensler, of course, has made signals that indicate that the SEC might be willing to approve a Bitcoin futures-based ETF. And so maybe in anticipation of that, we could see some more institutional buying. Lots of theories could be pushed out there. But I believe over the summer, even during the summer doldrums and such, it was the sentiment has always been quite bullish among the faithful Bitcoiners in the market.
I think there's clearly some support for the prices that were reached this morning, right? I think there is a lot of bullish sentiment in the market, and good reasons for optimism, some of which you cited. I think one thing to just keep an eye on is the fact that the world is a very uncertain place right now, not just in terms of what's going on in the debt markets in China, but what's going on in global supply chains, what's going on in geopolitics in the Middle East and Europe. I think there are a lot of places where you could see global events kind of creating turmoil, and the price of natural gas. Is another one. There are a lot of areas where you could see this kind of turmoil, and I think those are actually
Mhm.
in spite of the fact that Bitcoin has become this, has had this risk on narrative, uh, some of those events could end up being positive for Bitcoin in the ways that you might have seen this morning.
I want to bring up this tweet from Genesis Global Trading's Joshua Lim saying that this is the real flippening that everyone should be focusing on, with a chart showing surging CME Bitcoin futures in yellow over Deribit
Mhm.
Bitcoin futures in orange there. And
Yeah,
I want you to,
that's the basis, which is
yeah,
the
maybe you
difference
could,
between the price on the contract and the spot price. Yeah, and you're seeing sort of this like bullish surge on CME, more so than on any. And Deribit is the one highlighted here, but it's the same for any other derivatives exchange. It indicates a real, as you were saying earlier, Christine, like real bullish sentiment among the users of CME, which intend to be institutional type investors in the United States.
right. So again, another catalyst for Bitcoin potentially, with that we've it's been discussed through quite a bit often. So where do you see Bitcoin heading from here? Can it sustain this psychological threshold, or do you not see what is the new support and resistance?
I'm no technical analyst. I do think it's notable that we're still in the territory that the morning rally put us in. Uh, if that sort of we end up at a point where this seems to be the new normal, right? I think we were at a sort of 40,000 is, 40 to 50,000 band. If we're now in a 50 to 60,000 band, that's kind of puts us into new territory. And we've certainly seen Bitcoin before, run up quickly
Yeah.
from that point, right? Once it kind of crosses a new threshold, the bulls can really take over. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that here, but at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily, bet the house on it.